The solution is get all of these other countries on the globe who are supposed to be our allies to start acting like allies. If they don't, they have decided to become China's butt boy, and they're no longer an ally. I'm okay with it. Donald Trump has been pretty clear here in this second term as far as trade. And it's always funny when libertarians say tariffs are a tax and that's they never work. It's like, okay, every single nation, let me be clear about this. Every single nation uses tariffs, and they use them as a tool. And pretty much every single nation, but certainly every nation with significant trade between them and the United States, uses tariffs on us. There are no exceptions. Do you understand that? It may vary at some point in history. Every single nation uses tariffs, and they use them more than us. So let's not act as though it's unfair. This is just the first time where we're doing what everybody else is doing. And the position of this administration is, okay, if you're going to engage in trade with us, you are either with us or you are against us. It is a binary choice. Good. I think that's a good thing. Newly announced, I believe just yesterday, the trade deal with Great Britain is kind of case in point. Last night, he teased on Truth that there was going to be a deal. He said, and so we're going to cover this live, as I guess it's happening right now.
They're talking.
He said, big news conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., the Oval Office, mine, concerning a major trade deal with representatives of a big and highly respected country, the first of many. And right now he's discussing it. Let's go to it. We actually had a whole bunch of details, but they may all change because Donald Trump likes to do that.
Very big country. We have a lot of beef. We're a very big country, so it'll be great.
Where's the beef?
Yes.
You want me to jump?
Yes.
Let's talk about American beef really quickly, and it can't be understated. I'm Brooke Rollins, by the way, how important this deal is and what this means to American farmers and ranchers. Specific to the beef, this is going to exponentially increase our beef exports. And to be very clear, American beef is the safest, the best quality, and the crown jewel of American agriculture for the world. So I think a really important part of this deal isn't just the ethanol reducing of tariffs from 19 to 0.
By the way, fact check, Mission Control. Let's do this live. Do you guys know how much of your beef in grocery stores comes from places like China and comes from other nations when there's no need for that to be the case? Like what she just said is true, that our beef is safer. And I know people don't talk about GMOs and don't talk about corn, but you can get grass-fed. You can get American-raised Wagyu beef, too, also in Australia. But a lot of the beef you get in the grocery store does not come from this country. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? And you also understand that a large part of that has to do with trade agreements. And so it's been unfair for a while. Actually, before we go live, I guess just a few minutes ago, President Trump did lay out some details of this plan in a call with Keir Starmer. We have that clip.
With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade. The deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for American exports, especially in agriculture, dramatically increasing access for American beef, ethanol, and virtually all of the products produced by our great farmers. And our Secretary, as you know, of Agriculture is here. Brooke, thank you very much for being here.
It's a good day. Thank you, sir.
You'll let the farmers know. In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products. But this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries, because it'll be really great for the UK also. So they're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed, and we appreciate that.
Some other U.S. goods receiving
gentle love,
more market chemicals, machinery. It plans to bring the UK into the economic security sort of alignment. There's this agreement with the United States. It really is the first of its kind.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of the change in sort of overall tariffs on the UK to the United States, they were around 5.1, and it's going to be going to 1.8. The United States on UK, and I think this is taking into account the retaliatory tariffs, are going to go from 10 to 3.4. We already had pretty balanced trade, so it makes sense. This does kind of create a blueprint where people go, oh my gosh, he wants to throw the world into economic turmoil. He doesn't. He's obviously looking to strike a deal that should benefit both nations. This is about correcting unfairness.
Yeah.
It's not about the left wants you to believe this is about creating unfairness. If you understand the tariffs and the taxes that already exist, you will understand it is not up for debate. This is about correcting unfairness, not about creating unfairness, about correcting. unfairness. And Starmer also, by the way, praised this deal as well as, Donald Trump's negotiating team.
Thank you, Mr. President, Donald. And this is a really fantastic, historic day in which we can announce this deal between our two great countries. And I think it's a real tribute to the history that we have of working so closely together. Can I pay tribute, Donald, to your negotiating team as well, particularly Howard and Jameson?
What do you think? He's going to say no?
An incredible job, a very professional
It was
job.
me.
And my team as well. Two negotiating teams have worked at pace now for a number of weeks to bring in this deal today.
And you can almost apply broken windows theory here, where if people just sort of see around them, we're all reaming the United States on trade. Sure, that's how we live. It doesn't change. If people see, wait a second, folks around us are actually trying to sort of equalize the playing field. They're going to start being fair, not just taking advantage of the United States, of the people's benevolence. Guess what? Then more people follow suit, and you're seeing the dominoes right now. U.K., for example, they're now in line with Vietnam. Remember, they were one of the first people to come to the table. Yeah. That could be world-altering. Japan, Italy. I guarantee you there are more to come. Maloney even went as far as saying that the United States is Italy's most important trading partner, which surprised me even.
Are you staying with Europe or are you staying with U.S.? I'm staying with Italy, as always. I'm in Europe. I'm for the West. What does it mean? The electoral campaign is finished. And the idea that the relation between you and your counterparts change based on who wins the election is something I will never follow. Our relations with the U.S. are the most important relation that we have. The United States have always been our first ally. We respect them, and we want to enhance that cooperation.
Always Mussolini wants a word, but I understand the principle.
1939,
Yeah. Now, in this, we've talked about this before. Those who don't, in other words, your choice right now to the rest of the world, and I know that a lot of people watch internationally. Okay, if what you have been saying is true for all this time, China is going to be the world's next great economic superpower. Your choice is clear. Make it fair. Come to the table with the United States, as you just saw with the UK, as you saw with Italy, or you will be aligning with China. This is an A or B choice because China is on the opposite end of that spectrum. Here's the foreign ministry of China, remember, playing tough guy, letting everyone know we're going to be assholes.
China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States.
I want to go live to Donald Trump talking about China, but for context, they'll say, we're a very old nation. We're here a long time. Guess what? Donald Trump, the People's Republic of China, is younger than Donald Trump. Let that sink in. For all the ancient Chinese traditions, the current communist Chinese regime is younger than Donald Trump, let alone our constitutional republic. Our constitutional republic is the oldest of its kind. It has largely been unchanged. It's the oldest democracy currently in the world without a fundamental overhaul. So these people who want to act like they have the benefit of being from the old world and they've been around a lot longer, no, they haven't. They screw it up and they have to change. China is a new, retarded baby country. Let's hear what he is saying.
Makes millions of cars, which they'll be doing in our country. They're going to build, we have many factories, car plants being built or going to be built very soon. I think we can say that we'll be close to $10 trillion of investment. I think we're actually at that number now if you add up some of the ones we haven't heard about yet. I mean, we have some going up right now. They have plants going up and they haven't even spoken to us. They're doing it because of the tariffs. And tariffs have always been used against us. And I never understood. I used to sit back. As you know, China paid hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs when I was president. But until then, China never paid anything.
One of the few policies Biden kept, just didn't want to tell you.
from the standpoint of trade, but we are using tariffs now for our benefit, and we have now close to $10 trillion. Think of that, $10 trillion. If you look at the past administration, and we're talking about over, essentially 2 months, because we could say 3, but it took a little while to get the office in perfect shape, right? It took a little while to get things done. But once we started, when you think of that, close to $10 trillion of investment.
It's insane.
You've had years where the United States wouldn't do that wouldn't do $1 trillion in a year. Wouldn't do
and you know what?
anywhere near
That's
$1
really
trillion.
important because
We did 10
this doesn't exist in a vacuum. You hear me say that a lot. Just think of the policy of Barack Obama, even George W. Bush, and certainly Biden. Economically, capitulate, 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 then talk tough when it comes to war. Whereas you have a guy now who says, we're not going to capitulate. We're going to use our economic might to avoid war. Very, very different approaches. What do you want?
Yeah.
Fairness in trade and tariffs? Or do you want capitulation to build up an evil superpower and war? It is a binary choice.
Yeah, and it is making it to where the market can actually win instead of just government subsidizing a losing market.
Right.
You're like, oh, we've lost manufacturing. We'll just subsidize you guys. Oh, we've lost this. We'll just subsidize. He's like, how about we just don't lose all of that? Some of it, yes, I think it transitions around. That's fine. There's ebbs and flows. But let's give you a chance to actually compete on the global stage. Let's get rid of these non-tariff barriers as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's, you know what, unless there's, you guys can send in what's going on here live because I know it's going to be going on for a while. UK is showing you, same thing with Vietnam. They're showing you how to deal with the United States right now. Hey, look, new rules. There's a new sheriff in town. Meaning if there's a right way, there's clearly a wrong way, which brings us to Canada. So Carney, remember Carney? He's like the leader of that silly place. He pledged to go toe-to-toe with the United States on tariffs.
And our response to these latest tariffs is to fight,
Oh, no.
to protect, and to build.
Jeez.
We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impacts here in Canada.
Ooh, he's putting his fighting gloves on. Congratulations, you're the toughest guy at a 14-year-old girl's slumber party, Carney.
Not if I'm there.
That's true. Whoa. That's true.
Wait, I wouldn't be there.
Not if any other male is there.
Good
No,
save, Josh.
you'll be Pluto Blutarski with a ladder. Now let's flash forward. President Trump made it really clear. So in other words, if you do it the wrong way, guess what? You don't get praised. You get embarrassed. Tuesday, Donald Trump pretty much let him know, hey, there's nothing you can do. You screwed the pooch.
Mr. President, are you close to a trade deal? Canada as you meet the new Prime Minister, sir.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Just to clarify, Mr. President, is there anything the Prime Minister can say to you today to change your mind on tariffing Canada?
Tariffing cars?
Tariffing Canada. Is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No,
Why not?
just the way it is.
Yeah, that's a tough guy to negotiate with.
Yeah.
It's going to go about as well as with this guy.
I don't have some way to put it. That's the way it is.
I like it.
He should get that haircut, Trump.
Look, guys. Yes, he should.
Wouldn't it look good in golden?
Yeah. Can't eat cashews, tree nuts. Now, hey, world, everyone, come to the table, stop ripping off the United States, start being fair, or you suffer the fallout. And that fallout means that you will be China's bitch, in which case you're no longer a friend. That's how this world needs to shake out. Hey, a lot of people don't present the alternative. They'll talk about globalism. Yes, it's a problem. And the WEF, yes, it's a problem. The solution is get all of these other countries on the globe who are supposed to be our allies to start acting like allies. If they don't, they have decided to become China's butt boy, and they are no longer they're no longer an ally. I'm okay with it. I like having that line in the sand, and we're starting to see some dominoes fall. Of course, it'll probably take a while for the market to correct, but hey, great. The United States.
I already like it. I mean, Dow's up 418 right now. It's at about 41,000. It was at, 44,000 when all of this stuff started happening, something like that. It's not significantly off. Like, that's not nothing, but it's not everything, right? Things are definitely coming back. I do like the comparison, though. You guys want to go be China's friend? What kind of friend is China? I think what we're doing right now is exposing what kind of ally is China. They're not your friend. They're not anybody's friend. They're only in it for China. And I understand countries can be in it for themselves, but they are actually advocating to control you.
Right.
They don't care anything about you. They just want your resources, and they are absolutely moving on. There can be alliances that we can work out where it's mutually beneficial. China, just give them enough time. They want world domination.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's assume. Let me be really reductive, because I like it. So you guys, obviously in the real world, the UK, Vietnam, any of these countries, Italy, Canada, you're free. You're going to have your own laws, right? Because we're not an empire. We just engage in trade with you, and you still have your own laws. Silly laws, like in Canada. But let's assume worst case scenario. In other words, let's assume there was some kind of colonization or takeover. The United States, okay, if you were under our thumb, every single country, meaning if we said you're following our laws now, every single country would have more freedom than the day we took them over. If it's Canada,
true.
You don't need to worry about us arresting you for criticizing the government. You don't need to worry about us jailing you for Bibles. You don't need to worry about a two-tiered justice system depending on your religion. No. You would have more. You might have the Second Amendment rights that you've not had for a very long time. And I know that you'd be really upset about it. If China wasn't, and you had to be like China, you lose everything. Just think if you lived under the government of this country, the United States or China, which government would you want to live under? Get rid of Orange Man Bad. That's your choice. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the Live Daily Show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.